Hey guys, it's Jake from State Fun. Today we're gonna have to rebuild a hydraulic cylinder on this old New Holland up here. So this cylinder right here decided to blow a seal or whatever, started spewing hydraulic fluid out the shaft, which is not a good thing. Doesn't really function all that well like that. Now I knew I was gonna have to rebuild them eventually, because both of these, because my bucket would slowly tilt forward. Wasn't exactly planning on doing it this soon, but hey, here we are. Let's do this. First thing we gotta do is get the pin out that holds the hydraulic cylinder in place. Now it looks like it's just a nut right here. Pull the nut out, take the little cover off, and then I'm assuming that I can take a hammer and a punch and just drive that pin straight out that direction. But I guess we'll find out. Once that's done, we can pull this shaft up out of there, take a pipe wrench and pull the end nut off of the cylinder. Then the whole shaft should slide right on out, and that's the only piece that we really need to take somewhere to rebuild it. I'll put it in a vise over in the shop, and we'll get to rebuilding it at that point. Oh, that's nice. Hope to be able to use skid steer itself as leverage. There we go. I guess I don't have to worry about my wrench here rusting anymore now that it's nice and lubricated. I have no idea how that works, so I'm just gonna start beating this side with a hammer now. About the only way I can figure it has to come out, so. Well, that went a lot easier. I guess the benefit to working on it one at a time is I'll always have one cylinder keeping this plate held up and it doesn't just fall down on me. But the downside is that I'd have to do them one at a time then. I think that's just how I'm gonna do it though. That way I get a little bit more experience doing the first one, and then the second one will just be that much easier, right? Isn't that how that works? Set that pin up here so I don't lose it, hopefully. Stick this nut back on that bolt right there. Now I did cheat a little bit. I've already broke this thing loose, and it took a pipe wrench with a pipe over top of it to get it loosened up. But now that it's loose, I should be able to get it the rest of the way off with just the wrench. Well, there's a bunch of oil. All right, let's try this again. Maybe without making quite as much of a mess. Note for anybody doing this in the future, it's gonna pour a bunch of stuff out. All right, so now I gotta be able to get this shaft out. That's the sound of the air making it past the seal, which I guess is a pretty obvious thing that it's leaking then, huh? Well, I got the shaft. Overall, the shaft looks pretty good. I don't see any rust issues anywhere on it. The piston here has some discoloration there. I'm wondering if that might clean off okay. Here, right there, you can see where there's a seal failure right there. So that's kind of cool. Actually, it's just got a massive hole right there. That's probably the main issue. Pretty good chance, because I think that's supposed to be a solid O-ring. All right, so to try and keep from having too many issues with it leaking all over the place, I'll just put a little bit of a seal on it. How's that? Now it'll fill up the glove, and maybe it'll be out by then. Maybe we'll come back to a full glove and it'll just squirt out all over the place when we get back. I don't know, we'll see. There's a bolt right there that I gotta take off. It appears to be 1 1/8 inches. So we're gonna take my impact, pull that off, and then this head should come off, and then this I don't know, what would you call that? The screw end for the cylinder, that should come off, and it's got some O-rings and stuff inside it too. But between these two, that's the only thing I actually have to do any actual work on. So the biggest part is just getting to them. Wowza. Surely it's not reverse threads, right? Doesn't appear to be. All right, breaker bar time, I guess. Ugh. Man. Okay. Well, the Google machine says to just heat this bolt up hot enough to melt the Loctite, because apparently this has probably got red Loctite on the inside. Heat it up enough to where it's pretty much red hot. Let it cool down some and then break it loose. That's what they say. I'm not so sure. I guess we'll find out. Well, maybe that's hot enough. Let's see what my back will do. Nothing. Well, it's burning something off on the inside. Probably the seal. See if we can break the wrench instead. If this didn't work, I'm gonna end up having to get like a torque multiplier or something. I don't know. Ah! I got it! That's still very hot. Okay, so we got O-rings and stuff that go on the outside here. Obviously a lot of those burned away. And then there should be an O-ring on the outside of this guy. There should be a few on the inside as well, which is the main reason we had to take that bolt off, is to get to the ones in there. So we've got a seal and an O-ring in there, and this blue one is actually the reason that it was leaking, I bet, because that's where the oil was blowing out from. So this head here, right, that blue ring right there on the inside, that's all whoppy-jawed. That's the reason the oil was blowing out of the front of the hydraulic cylinder. The ones that we could see on this head here that had a big hole, that's the main reason that my bucket tilt function was slowly leaking, because essentially the left hydraulic cylinder wasn't doing jack squat. So we'll go get the rebuild kit and get these things rebuilt. Got a new wear ring for that guy. Another wear ring, I guess it goes inside. I think I see it on the back side of that one there. Is it an O-ring or is that? Yeah, it's some sort of O-ring. Probably goes inside there. It might replace that blue one in there. Got a seal. A couple more O-rings for the outside here. I guess we'll just find out as we go. So start off by pulling the seal out here. If I can get up underneath it with my pick. There it is. Go back here. Oof. All right, let's see. So I had a seal and that thing in here. And then I think my wear ring is right here. Boy, this is a pain. I finally got a start on it. There we go. There it is. I got the wear ring out now. All right, I guess we'll start by putting the wear ring back in, the new one. Okay. Oh, hey, here's a... There we go. Gotta get that ring off too. All right, so for the most part, everything that was outside of the plastic goes on this head, except for that wear ring. That wear ring will go on this one. Alrighty, let's see. Wonder how that goes in there. So finally got that thing in there, right down in there. I know you can't see it very well, but it's there. And then we got the wiper seal, I think this is called. All right, so I'm gonna take a 2x4 here and keep it nice and flat there. There we go. That should do. All right, so that's this piece done. Let's see how hot this guy is. Well, that's not singeing me anymore. So that's a good start. Oh yeah, I gotta put these back on this guy. All right, so the flat one was all the way against the back side of this. And then the actual O-ring was in front of it. All right, here we go. There's the flat one in there. Now the O-ring. There we go. Now that one's done. All right, let's see. So we'll start with the wear ring here. Right there. This basically has two flat wipers. I don't know what these are called. They have splits in them. I'm gonna do this kind of like you would the rings on a piston. So my wear ring has a gap here. I'm gonna do that guy. I'm gonna leave the gap in a different location, probably like a quarter of the way across. There we go. So the gap for this one's gonna be right there. O-ring on. So let's see, that gap there, that gap right there. Now I'll put this last gap 180 from the first, so should be able to put this in something like that. So it honestly actually looks like the O-ring should have gone on first, and then I'll put one of these on each side. So I'm gonna try and dig this one out just a little bit, make sure it goes where it's supposed to. There we go, that fit pretty good. Something like that. Now we just gotta go put it back on. There we go. Feels pretty tight there. Alrighty, so then we'll put this back on with the bolt. I got some blue Loctite, which isn't as strong of a hold, but that's something. A little of that on there, let it soak through the threads a little bit. And then we'll try and put the mother load of torque back on it. That should be enough. I can't imagine why it would need that much torque, but you know. So now that we got the cylinder head rebuilt, got a couple new bushings to put in the end of this guy right here. First gotta get the old ones out. There's one side out. That's two. There's a little ridge of dirt down in there. Just gonna try and file that out and pick it out and stuff like that. See if we can beat this sucker in now. Well, that wasn't too bad. Flip it over. And those do not have much of a gap all the way around, so that's kind of nice. I like that. Now all we gotta do is put it back in. Well, hello, Holly. Nice to meet you. Now that we got the cylinder rebuilt, we can put it back together. I did go ahead and empty out my bucket. Probably open that up right into there. Go ahead and get the cylinder ready. All right, this should be fun. See if we can fit this up in there. Let's get these started on the threads. I'm gonna call that tight. It looks like I may have to crank this up and try and tilt the cylinders up some, because right now I can't create enough force to pull against the suction that the hydraulic cylinder is creating. I guess I'll crank it up and try and rotate it up and forward. I'm kind of afraid that might send this up into the cylinder too, but I mean, eventually it's got to bottom out. So let's check the hydraulic fluid, make sure I can top that off real quick. We're gonna crank it up. I'm gonna tilt that plate forward. It's probably gonna bring this cylinder in as well, but it should at least get the plate to line up with that cylinder at some point along the travel. So wherever that lines up, that's where we'll end up at. I think I can work with that. That'll do. I just gotta take this nut off and get that alignment hole. Alrighty, there's one hydraulic cylinder done. And the good news is, since I ran it in and out, this had the least amount of pressure, and you can actually see it run in and out correctly. That's a win. All right, let's start on the other side. So taking what I learned from the last one, I'm I'm gonna go ahead and pull all of the O-rings, which most of this one's already gone for me. I'll pull those off, pull the wear ring and stuff off, and then I'm gonna heat the outside of this shaft here, see if I can break that bolt loose. There it went. Oh. Come on, come on. Woo. I got it. Don't it look good? Cylinder number 2 done. Let's go get it installed. Alrighty, let's get this sucker installed. Alright, time for the torque multiplier, also known as the square inch of aluminum tubing. Yeah, buddy. There it is. Well, I guess that's rebuilt. Now I just got to get them all filled up with hydraulic fluid, which I should be able to do just by actuating it forward, backward, until I get all the air out. And then, of course, topping off the fluid reservoir every time I do that. That's above full right now, but I've still got to fill up the hydraulic cylinder a few times, so we'll check it again after I raise and lower that a couple. So my main issue was that this bucket, well, before I blew the cylinder anyways, I was having an issue where this bucket would just slowly rotate downward. And it is doing that, but the engine's also off, and I've got a load on it. It's definitely not as severe as it was before. So I call that a win. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good one.